Hey everyone, it's Armor Gaming. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Monster Legends. It is time for one of my favorite videos where we're going to be looking at the top monsters from the top 100 players for the previous mid-season. So this is exciting. I love this kind of video because we actually get to see the data behind the monsters that are used the most, which is a good proxy for the meta, right? Because obviously, if the top players are using these monsters, then they are arguably the best monsters. So with that being said, PvP Corrupted Tournament 4 usage data mid-season edition. Huge shout out once again to Monster Legends Competitive Wiki for all this amazing information. So A stands for attack, D stands for defense, T is for total. The ratio of players with pay-to-play corrupted as opposed to none this week is 95-5. Ooh, looks like there's almost no free-to-play in the top 100 anymore. So, let's see who is going to be in the heavy category, which are monsters that are used over 4. So, Master Rat used to be the top used corrupted monster. I think he's going to fall. I honestly think that Spectra is going to take first place. I think it's going to displace Shelly and all the other Mega Top monsters. So, I think it's going to be Spec, followed by Shelly, followed by Master Rat, followed by Mouseron or Ollie, or yeah, I think Mouseron first. I think most players are probably utilizing Mouseron, and then Ollie next. Maybe. The weird thing about Ollie is I actually haven't seen players really prioritize him. So even the top players, I feel like they've chosen to prioritize Mouseron over Ollie, and I think a big part of that was because Mouseron was from the exclusive pass. He already came rank 3, whereas Ollie, you kind of had to invest Ludum into him. I mean, yes, he was a frat monster, but Mouseron, you just spend. 95% of the players are spenders, so they got Mouseron, they just invested to take him to rank 4, rank 5 easily. I really do hope that Ollie eventually gets used more and more. Maybe more so in offense. I've said this before, I prefer Ollie for offensive purposes because you can run Sin Eater and then just stun the enemy if he was to get hit with the DOT. Yes, I do realize that Mouseron has more survivability. He starts the game off with a 50% shield. Nowadays, monsters have Unrelenting Assault and Dispelling Fist, so that shield gets removed. But being able to stun on Ollie is pretty cool. But anyhow, that is my prediction. I do think Spectra is going to be in first place. So without further ado, let's go down and let's see if I was right. No! Shelly's still in first place. But look at this. This is interesting. Shelly's usage is 52 in total. 35 for offense, 17 on defense. Wow. So this has dropped. I believe this used to be the 60s, even 70s at one point. So it has dropped a lot, but Shelly is still the most used monster in Monster Legends. Scrolling down. There we go. Oh my gosh, it was off by just 1. Come on, this monster might as well have been first. Alright, Spectra, 30 for offense, 21 for defense. Nice, 51 in total. So just off by 1. And then look at that. Look who's taking third place. So Master Rat has significantly dropped, and I definitely expected that. I think he might not even be in the heavy category anymore. We'll see. So Mouseron is at 17 and 27 on defense, so being prioritized a little more for defense and Shelly for offense. Probably because Shelly, if it was to die, you can resurrect, and then you can kind of control the battle. You can go into your 100% damage mirror, 100% damage mirror, Megataunt skill, whatever it does. So I think that's why Shelly's being used more so on offense. So Mouseron, 17, 27, wow. I do think by the end of this season, this monster will clearly be in first place over 60 usage. I think Mouseron could potentially even displace Shelly. I don't know. I think it's going to be a close one by the end of the season. Shelly, Mouseron, but let me just say, this will be first, Mouseron will be second, and then Shelly will be in third. I'm curious who's fourth. It's going to be Master Rat. It is Master Rat. So Master Rat is at 42. I honestly think Master Rat's usage is going to drop down below 40, so he'll be in the toughies category for the end of the season. So 18 on offense, 24 on defense. No, that is going to drop. So these are our best monsters. We have 2 dark monsters, Shelly and Mouseron, and then we have a magic and a light. Funny enough, the 3 corrupted monsters still are not better than Shelly, arguably. Again, I really do think Shelly's going to drop. Alright, eventually, I really do think, like, say what you guys will about the monster skill sets, Ollie and Mouseron, they're nowhere near that of Shelly. It doesn't matter. Because these are corrupted monsters and they have access to obscure talents, that just makes them infinitely better. Whether you equip the Sin Eater on them, so it's not as easy as to land a dot and deny them with possession, free, stun, whatever. Whether it's they're running Soul Dragon, they can kill you, like, the access to talents just put them on a whole different level. So yeah, let's see who's in. Okay, so in 5th place we actually have Cryo Crawler, 28 on defense, 10 for offense. Cryo actually does make sense to me. Part of me wants to say I wouldn't be surprised if Cryo ends up outlasting Shelly. I know it's a very, like, provocative statement to make, I don't see it happening. At the same time, I do see it happening, and the only reason I say that is because of dodge area. Because of the dodge area monsters we have, Lady Meow, for example, Wingsu, and we're getting more dodge area monsters, I wouldn't be surprised if Cryo Crawler's Taunt ability actually makes him out-survive Shelly, who has Resurrection. So we'll see how the meta plays out, but especially if any like free-to-play players start kind of making their way up the ranks, they're going to be having to utilize that mechanic, right? They're going to have to utilize Taunts plus dodge area. Or maybe a casual spender using Lady Meow, Crowd Crawler, that mechanic is gonna like someone that didn't buy Mouse Run might be utilizing Crowd Crawler Lady Meow, you know? So we'll see how that phases out. We have Lindworm being used a total of 32 times, 31 for offense. I imagine Thalassa is still gonna be in the top. Yeah, has to be. And look at that, Pandakin, the OG corrupted monster, is being used a total of 32 times, tied with our Lindworm, 7 for offense, 25 on defense. Honestly, I think Pandakin's usage is gonna drop. I think part of the reason he's here is because players probably got him from the Legends Pass and then just invested into him. But realistically, I don't think he's going to last long. Bombetta's at 29, 25 for offense, 4 on defense. We have the Do at 25, 10 offense, 15 on defense. We have Lady Meow, ooh, making a huge jump. I don't remember seeing Lady Meow. 10 on offense, 15 on defense, 25 total. So let's go back to Crowd Crawler. He's used 28 on defense. I imagine it's with Lady Meow. And I imagine we might see Bornaut as well. 10 on offense, Crowd Crawler's 10. Imagine if those 10 are using Crowd Crawler. So yeah, I think that's part of the reason I'm saying like Cryo might outlast Shelly. Let me know what you guys think about that. But let's scroll down. We have Chucklemuckle, 7, 15, 22. Honestly, that Pyrophobic Shield that Chucklemuckle is so annoying with doesn't even matter when you have a Pierce monster, right? That can just pierce through anything and just kill you. Alright, we have Fombit also dropping significantly. Remember guys, she used to be a top 3 monster. And now she's down to 10 and 10, 20. Oh, she's going to drop to mids. Yeah. Oh, wow. Look at her usage. Cat's usage has increased significantly. 10 and 7. Wow. Keep in mind, this was just the free Legends Pass monster, which means if players are using this monster, they had to invest some heavy Ludum into her to get her to rank 3, rank 4, rank 5 to actually be able to utilize her. Hardy is dropping significantly. My goodness. He probably gets OTK'd by Spec over here because even though Spec is magic-based, she has a lot of special-based attacks. Like her strongest attack, one-shot kill, is special-based. So it's no surprise why Hardy's usage dropped. And we don't even have our anticipation monster yet. Once Karukagi comes out, well, yeah, we have Ferrata. But once Karukagi comes out, yeah, Hardy's completely dead. Oh, there we have Bornaut. Look at that. 2 on offense, 12 on defense. So I'd imagine Lady Meow on defense, going back 15. So I imagine some of those bases are together. I did mention I do think this monster's usage should increase more, so we'll see if that's the case or not. But look, our Cosmics are dying. Thalassa's still hanging on in there with 12 because of Lindworm. Neurofunk at 10, 3 and 7. This one honestly surprises me. Because he was a race monster, I really thought Neurofunk would be used a lot more. You know, similar to Master Rat, how because he was a race monster and then he just got the biggest benefit of Unrelenting Assaults. A little surprised, but I guess we'll see. When I run into Neurofunks, a lot of time they do run all-speed Dispelling Fist, and then it follows up with like a Pandakin to deny or something. Sometimes I do see attacking Neurofunks running Unrelenting Assaults. We have Ollie at 3, 7, 10. I'm actually surprised, but I do feel like this will be increasing as time goes on. We have Platypus at 9. Rudechaw, this one's interesting because he's a Tails monster that recently came out, and already he has 8. So I wouldn't be surprised if he increased it a little more. It makes me wonder why players are using Rudechaw more so than Colonel Pip. Colonel Pip was a maze monster, but again, top 100, I imagine they got Colonel Pip. So it looks like players like Rudechaw more than Colonel Pip. Banos dropped to 8, 6, and 2. Look, we even have Ferrata at 8, 1, and 7. I think her usage will actually increase. She's actually pretty valuable to counteract that, the Unrelenting Assault. Also, even against a Spec, you know, you can run Barkhide, that's nature damage against Spec. You do have a magic attack with Spec, but it is your AoE, so yeah, you have an elemental advantage, but it's only that one attack. She can provide a lot of shields, which don't really help because that's a Pierce monster you're going up against. Whew, the danger. Yeah, so even though she's Anticipation, against Spec, I mean, everyone, like, has trouble against Spec. That's not even fair. Anticipation, Karukage might be able to take down Spec, because the way I see it, if Spec doesn't OTK your Karukage can run Unrelenting Assault if you have it, and then the minute the enemy's UA triggers, you'll get a turn in, you can attack, your UA will trigger, and it goes from there. So that'll be interesting to see. Ignis, OG, OG Cosmic Fire Monster still hanging on there with 6 for an offense. We have Minos. I think his usage will drop as time goes on to 0, honestly. We have Tabora 325. We have Rotten at 4. I'm honestly surprised Rotten is at 4. Like, yeah, you res block, but if you're using Rotten for Resurrection, wouldn't Equalaria be a better one? Where is Equalaria, by the way? I have not even seen her. Wow, interesting. Robo out for some time he was getting heavy usage. Now it appears he is dropping. We have Igori Buki at 4. I don't think he's ever going to get used much. Even though you could, from an offensive point of view, you could protect your MT, right? Especially since we have Dispelling Fist, and just about any monster can remove positive effects now. You can go, this monster's fast, you can go first, positive effects protection on Megaton, and doesn't matter if the enemy has Dispelling Fist, you can protect. So maybe he has some value, and maybe we'll see him in Strategic Wars for sure, he can be useful. In PvP, you honestly just run spec and kill the enemy. We have Dratis at 4, Lonrad, Resurrection 2-2, Kodama, Santerion. You know what the interesting thing about Santerion is? I actually think he's a lot more valuable from an offensive perspective, and even on defense. The thing about Santerion is, if you want to counter Unrelenting Assault, one way is obviously with anticipation. Another way is to have enough life that the enemy doesn't get a chance to anticipation or unrelenting assaults. The third way to counter unrelenting assault is if your monster gets OTK'd. So if you have Santerion and you're running all team speed, and the enemy goes and any attack they do kills Santerion, unrelenting assault won't trigger. So it's a Megaton monster that can counter unrelenting assault by dying. Very interesting. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if his usage actually increases more as a counter to that. Like, again, I do imagine players would rather have Ollie, Mouseron, and any future Megaton monster that gets released, but, you know, that is an interesting mechanic you could utilize. We have Master Masher 1-1 for turn transferring. We have Ragnarok 2 on defense. We have Faye 2. We have Daedalus still being used. Eventually, he's not going to be used at all. We have Solar Flare, and then some random monsters. We have Henrich, Rosulka, Zorky, Colonel Pip at 1. Again, interesting that Rucha is used significantly more so than Colonel Pip. We have Vish. We have Hyperia, Lupin, Dreamer, Marley on defense. We have Leaf, Equalaria, only 1. Interesting considering she can res. Ulrika, Letalus, Noah, Steam, Roostwain, Captain Elvid, Urkin, Superfox, and that is it. So, obviously, there's a lot of corrupted monsters that just do not appear anywhere on here. A lot of the Season 1 monsters, even Gartox from Season 2, the PvP monster, is not on there. I gotta say, this one surprised me. I feel like she came out of nowhere. Like, Cat, I don't remember seeing her in the last data usage, so that's interesting. I love seeing that Boronot's usage increased. Who else? Lady Mao went up there, and which one else? Panikin, he's slowly increasing, but I do think he's gonna fall. I still have my thesis that Crowd Crawler might outlast Shelly because of the synergy with Dodge Area. This doesn't surprise me at all. Like, of course, she's gonna dominate. Mouseron at 44, he jumped huge. I'm still very sad about Ollie not jumping up. I would really like to see Ollie increase. And then this also kind of shocked me that his usage was not as high as I thought he would be. I'm waiting for the day Thalassa dies. I think once Lindworm dies and he is going to start dying slowly off, he might remain in the mid for a while. But Thalassa will die as well when Lindworm dies off. But then again, all you really need is Megaton. See, but I guess it revolves around this monster. If she's on defense, even if you have Lindworm, you risk potentially dying. I don't know. I don't know if Lindworm will die off. Because in my head, I'm like, well, if you run Megaton, Lindworm, and Thalassa, you could maybe pull off victories. Might take a while, but you can pull it off. But once the enemy has, like, all Barkhides, or Soul Dragon, Barkhide, and now you're dealing damage when you kill them and damage them, I don't know. We'll have to see how everything fades out. There was definitely some interesting jumps, and some monsters that dropped so much that I was not expecting. Again, like, Vanoz died off. Again, Rucha also, interesting seeing him so early on. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything develops. Port Fun beat Astro dropping significantly. It's going to be interesting to see how everything develops. So let me know what you guys think about the top monsters. Did you guys think it was going to be like this? Did you guys guess Spectre was going to be #1? Any thoughts, let me know in the comments below. Huge shout out to Mosnters Competitive Wiki. Link in the description if you want to see this blog for yourself. Thank you very much, and remember to subscribe.